Welcome to the Smart Business Revolution podcast, where we feature top entrepreneurs, business leaders, and thought leaders and ask them how they built key relationships to get where they are today. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hey everyone, John Corcoran here. I am the co-founder of Rise25 and a member of EO San Francisco, and this is a little bit different format here. So we're doing a live webinar right now. We're going to go about 30 minutes. This will also be a recording, which I'll share on YouTube and share as a podcast episode as well, and so that others can benefit from this. But we're recording this on February 6th, 2026. And so it's very early on. We're going to be talking about Clawdbot /OpenClaw /Moltbook / whatever it's called. This has been a phenomena that has taken the internet by storm. It's really incredible how much excitement there is around this particular tool. But first of all, for those of you who are here on the live webinar, we're doing regular webinars on various different topics. So I wanted to just preview a few of those to make sure they're on your radar screen. So first of all, February 11th, 2026, at 3 o'clock Eastern time, how to drive authority and trust to get more traffic and sales in 2026. February 25th at 3 p.m. Eastern time, how to get seen by ChatGPT and other LLMs with Jason Patel, who's the CEO and founder of OpenForge. And then after that, we also have on March 11th, we have how to vibe code your next startup in a weekend with Replit with Tyler Olson of Bionic Wave AI. And with that, St. Clair, do you want me to just turn over to you? Do you want me to give a little overview of what Clawdbot is, or do you want to give an overview of what Clawdbot is?
Maybe you could try, and then I'll tell you whether I agree or not.
Okay, that sounds good. All right.
But yeah, I'm happy to. I just did a presentation for my forum yesterday, so I can jump into that, and that will show like what it actually does, and then based on some people want like a more tech. One of the really important things to understand right now is like the paradigm shift like that this has caused, and so I think it's important to cover that too, and I'll explain basically how like the way that he built this open source project, it's kind of like just demolished the way that everyone's been thinking about building agentic systems, and why that's probably the key takeaway for everybody right now.
So I guess to kind of dumb it down for everyone, keep it kind of simple. So it's an open source AI assistant that can run 24/7 on a server. And you can, everyone's, the funny thing is people are running out buying MacBook minis, or Mac minis because it's an easy way to run it. And we'll get into some of the security risks around it. But this is an idea that was just unveiled a couple of weeks ago. It was unveiled by this guy. He's the creator, Peter Steinberger. And I went to an event this week, this Wednesday in San Francisco that he was speaking at. And it was wild, you guys. There were like 500 people there, 600 people there, maybe. It was absolutely nuts. There was, typical San Francisco type of stuff. They had like a humanoid robot walking around and things like that, and all kinds of crazy people, more junior engineers from Meta and Uber than you can shake a stick at, all vibe coding some startup on the weekend. But a lot of excitement around this thing. And so it's really cool to see. So, so why don't you take it over, St. Clair? Why don't you explain kind of, because you understand the concept behind this?
Yeah. So, what he built is like basically a really elegant system for creating a user experience it's like blowing people's minds. And like Peter Diamandis and people like that, they were on a podcast yesterday talking about, this is when people will say, "Oh, we got AGI," because it feels when you get this loaded up and you start interacting with it, it feels like the best employee you've ever had. And so like there's a lot of people talking about, oh, this is like, what would I do with it? And like, that's just insane. Because if you're like a busy person and you got a bunch of stuff going on, it's like a godsend. It's literally like the most productive employee I've ever had. And so, so essentially why don't I jump in? Why don't I show this deck that I created for my EO forum yesterday?
Okay.
Because I think, what most people want to see is like, well, what can it do for you? And this is like just a fraction of the stuff because it's done so much more, and I'll tell you what more it's done. But for now, let me share this little presentation.
And St. Clair, tell us about what your business is, so we have that background knowledge.
Okay, so I've got a couple businesses. I've got the AI consultancy that we're just kind of kicking off, and I've been like way down the AI rabbit hole the past 3 years. And so we're literally working in this field, like building agents and stuff like that. But for 20 years, I've been in the energy business. So I started an energy brokerage company in 2001, where we help large consumers of electricity and natural gas throughout the country buy and manage, their energy.
Okay.
So yeah. So let me share my screen here, and we'll burn through this. I'll try to go through it pretty quickly, and then we can answer questions.
If people do have questions along the way, you can put them in the chat and I'll try and interject them, or we can save them for the end. In the meantime, again, speaking about the event on Wednesday, there's a woman walking around. I mentioned this in some of the chats, so some people saw this already, but there's a woman walking around and her name tag said Marissa, Marissa. And I was like, I think I recognize her. And it was Marissa Mayer, who was the CEO of Yahoo at one point. She was employee number 20 at Google, was a really big hotshot executive. She wasn't even speaking. She was just walking around in the crowd. It was crazy to see people. And she's on the board of Starbucks right now, but she was there to just experience it.
So I started using Clawdbot like probably 10 days ago, something like that. When I had it, and like a few days ago, I said, hey, just look at all the stuff we've done and create a deck that I can share with my EO forum about all the cool stuff you've done for me. Mm-hmm. That's the instructions I gave it. That's it. And it went out to get it looked at all the stuff we've done, and it tried to create a little slide deck that I could present to my forum. So for example, that's one of the things it can do.
Wow.
When you do the setup, it's like, hey, give me a name. So I called mine Billy. So how AI agents really work. This is a 7-day case study revealing what happens when you give an AI agent true autonomy, persistent memory, and accountability. This isn't theory. It's a documented experiment in high agency artificial intelligence. So the stats: 21 projects managed, 200 plus tasks completed, 300 million tokens consumed. And I'm not going to read all of it, but not a chatbot, not a toy, a fucking workhorse that operates 24/7 with complete documentation and zero bullshit. And it will start to talk like you. So you can tell that I cuss a lot. I'm not a chatbot. Chatbots answer questions. I ship shit. What chatbots do: answer when asked, forget after session ends, no accountability for outcomes, wait passively for prompts. What Billy does: ships production code, fixes bugs autonomously, sends professional emails, manages complex projects, works while you sleep, documents everything, commits changes to Git. What makes me different? This is what happens when you build an AI agent right. File-based memory, not ephemeral, survives restarts and maintains continuity across sessions. Multi-channel, Telegram, email, web dashboard, same brain, seamless experience. Autonomous work, proactively executes tasks without waiting for prompts. Full accountability, task tracking, cost monitoring, complete audit trails. Self-hardening, automatically improves security, runs tests, fixes vulnerabilities. No vendor lock-in, not a black box, open source foundation with custom extensions you can audit and control. Foundation, it's MIT license. This is not important. So the really interesting thing is when you look at the architecture and how this whole thing works. It's based on a file structure. So how I remember everything, AI models don't remember. Every session starts with complete amnesia. So if you think about it, if you're using OpenAI, ChatGPT, and then you go over and you use Claude, and then you use Grok, none of that shit is synced up. So it has no idea. But when you have a file structure that captures all the information you need, which this does, and then you have a harness that taps into the models, it creates this persistent memory and the ability to execute this loop. So the files that are underlying this are like the Soul MD file. Soul MD. MD stands for Markdown. A lot of AI agents want to read Markdown files. It's like a text file that they can read very easily. So the Soul file is where the personality, values, and boundaries live. The user.md file is where like my user preferences and communication style exist. Agent MD is my complete operating instructions. Tools are all my capabilities and how to use them. Memory are daily logs of everything that I do. Memory is curated long-term memories and insights. Files are truth, memory is fallible. So the first takeaway right here is, so we're capturing all this important stuff and we're keeping it in one spot. So if we're switching between models, or if a model dies, or if we run out of context window and it needs to restart, it can wipe its short-term memory clean, and then it just goes and looks at all these files and goes, oh, here's where we are.
No, that's amazing.
so it can pick right up.
Let me ask you about, did you have to set your preferences and communication style in the beginning?
Yeah. So like when you do the very first setup, it's going to ask you a few questions and you'll give it something like, for example, you could like it's, what do you want me to be for you? And you could say, hey, I want you to be like a little bot that creates gamma presentations. And if you told it that, that's all it would do. But if you say, like, I want you to be the most proactive virtual assistant I've ever had. I want you to like pay attention to what I'm doing, and I want you to help me think of what I should do next. And I want you to help, like in my case, like I want you to help me keep track of all this stuff. It will try to become that, and over time, it gets better and better at like becoming what you told it you want it to be.
And then the other, can you go back one slide? So the previous slide, it said, I think, agents.md, my complete operating instructions. So like, for example, my company, we have a ton of SOPs. Some people use Trainual, we use Sweet Process. Could you like upload all that to an agents.md file and it would have access to all of your SOPs?
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely. And so here's the thing. It's really important to understand this. This is not like where you normally go install some software and the software has all the capabilities. The perfect way to think about this is you hired a person who has a PhD in everything and like a great computer. If you did that tomorrow, they wouldn't know anything about you. They have all the intelligence because they got a PhD in everything, and they're like a crack coder. They can do anything you can think of with a computer, but they don't know who the hell you are yet. So you've got to tell it, here's who I am. Here's the things that I need you to do. And then for everything that it doesn't understand how to do, it creates a skill. So like when I loaded it up, it didn't know how to go out and create gamma presentations. But I said, hey, I need you to be able to create presentations. And it's like, sweet. What do you want to do? How do you want to do that? I'm like, well, I like gamma. It's like, great, grab me an API key. Okay, here's the API key. 30 seconds later, it's like, cool, I just read the API docs. I know how to do that. Let me see if the key works. The key works. Let's test it. And I'm like, make me a hello world presentation. It's like, sweet, here you go. Here's the link. That's how it is with every single skill you want to do. So if you think about training an employee, if you hired an employee for $500,000 a year, you'd probably have to train him to do all this like high value stuff for you. And you'd want to give him like a while. Yeah, you'd give him specific instructions. That's why like when people are like, oh, I loaded it up and it didn't do anything. Well, no shit. Like if you hired a VA with all the PhDs in the world and you sat him down at a computer in your office without telling him what the hell you want him to do, he wouldn't be very productive and you might not understand it.
And Dave asks, how is it with memory and hallucination?
So it's actually really freaking good. It's not like there's a couple really important commands you have to give it. Like there's a couple things that are like default off on the memory settings that are better, but like how it clears and compacts conversations and stuff like that. There's a few settings that like if it's not doing well with memory, then there's something wrong and you probably need to diagnose it. And the beautiful thing is that like with anything, if you're like, hey, your memory seems to suck, like what's going on here? It'll be like, oh, hold on, let me see what's going on here. And you could say, hey, go read and see what other people are saying about fixing your memory. And it'll be like, oh yeah, I found this technique. This looks good. Should I do that? And you're like, yeah, let's try that. But remember how to undo it if it doesn't work. Like an employee, okay, so how I wake up, every session starts fresh. Boot up, session starts fresh, no memory. Read Soul MD, load core identity and rules. Read user MD, load user preferences and context. Read memory, reconstruct session continuity, check queue. So it's always queuing stuff too. So if you're telling it to do stuff, it's going to queue it. So you don't have to worry about overloading it. It'll be like, okay, I got another task that I got to do, and it's going to put it in the queue, and it'll work through it serially. It's like waking up with amnesia, but having a detailed journal that lets me catch up on everything. This file-based approach creates perfect continuity across sessions. Multi-channel architecture. So same brain, multiple interfaces, Telegram, email, web dashboard. Trying to burn through some of these. The workspace has everything has a place. So again, agents, user soul, tools, queue, memory. So projects, like that's one that I added. And this mission control dashboard app, I created that because I wanted to have like a better visual of the projects. So I was like, hey, like I'm telling you to do all this shit and I know you're queuing it, but okay, so this is super important. So I told it, okay, let's think through this like very carefully, and let's think through how most project management tools work, and how a person that's really like a badass project manager, how he works, and let's create a file structure within you so that anytime I tell you to do something that's more than one task, you create a project, and I want you within that project to create a like a vision for the whole project, like a project overview. I want you to create a status file, and I want you to create to-dos. So if you ever lose your place, you can always go back and you'll know what that project is, what the status of it is, and like the list of to-dos, ones that you've already done are crossed off, and ones that are yet to be done are still open. So you understand how like giving it that scaffolding makes like a lot of sense, like
Yeah.
so that it can
Yeah.
so that same process, like if you know how like how you would want an employee to handle project management, and you tell it, hey, let's build that into you, you extend it and make it better than it is natively, because it didn't have project and mission control when I fired it up.
One other question Rishi said, I saw 300 million tokens. What model are you using? If Opus, it sounds really expensive.
Yeah. So if I did that much on the Anthropic API key, it would be real expensive. So there's two ways to when you do the setup, like for example with Anthropic, and Claude is like the best. I feel like the best model. There's two ways you can get access. You can do the API route, and that is the most expensive. Like you'll look up and you're like at $20, and it's like, hey, you're out of money. But like I have the Claude Max $100 plan, and I'm not hitting the limits on it. And so there's a process that you have to use the terminal and get it to issue a token, like doing the OAuth, and it issues a token. It's a little bit techy.
It's a one-time thing, or do you have to do that frequently?
Yeah, it's a one-time thing.
Okay,
it's one-time thing. And here's the thing.
But I mean, $100 a month for a all you can eat, all you can accomplish employee is pretty cheap.
Yeah, I mean, let me put it this way. It's like the value, no matter what, like even if I was using the Anthropic API key, the value is there. Like, and here's the thing. So in addition to those, like I have Open Router set up. And so like if you use Open Router, you can access any model you want. And so for example, like DeepSeek is really good for web research. It's like super cheap to go out there and search the internet and process all that information. Grok is pretty cheap. And if you want like real-time information, it has access to Twitter in real time. So like through all my configurations, I've said, hey, look, if I want you to go do some web research, pull up the OpenAI or Open Router and use DeepSeek. If I want you, if it sounds like I'm asking for real-time information, I want you to use Grok. Use Open Router, go to Grok. So you want it to offload the tasks to the appropriate model based on the value of the task and the right model for the job. I set up like telephony with it yesterday, because I was like, hey, tell me 10 things that would, like, based on us working for a week, what are like the things that would give you superpowers so you could be like a more badass employee? And it's like, oh, I got this. Let me give you 10 ideas. It's like the first one, you need to give me a voice. And I'm like, cool. How do we do that? And it's like, okay, do you have Twilio? I'm like, yep, give me that. Do you have an 11 Labs API key? Yep, give me that. Okay, perfect. I'll build it for you. And then like it knew, I was like, it said, what model should we use? I said, I have no fucking idea. Like figure out what the best voice model is. And it's like, okay, through Open Router, I can use GPT-4o. That should be good. And so like we went back and forth testing different models, and this like it's freaking amazing because 15 minutes after I said, yeah, let's do voice, it called me. Like, wow. My phone's ringing. And it's like, hey,
there's a video on Twitter. There's probably a couple of videos of this happening, other people doing this. But what was that like for you when it called you?
Pretty wild, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why people are freaking out, because it feels like a freaking human.
Yeah.
And like that guy, Alex Finn, he's kind of bullshitting. Like it didn't figure that shit out. What he did is he told it what it wanted it to do, because I know I just did it. Like you had to go and grab your Twilio API keys and your 11 Labs.
Okay.
There's no way in hell it could have just done that on its own.
Yeah.
So he was indulging.
Well, there are definitely some people that are hyping this up, and if you look at their Twitter profiles, they're selling software for like social engagement. It's like, okay, you're just trying to get social engagement here.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll keep going.
Okay.
So no vendor lock-in. Use the right tool for the job. I use Open Router to access 200 plus models. So it's what I just told you there. So like research tasks, I use DeepSeek for 25 cents per million tokens. Code generation, Opus is best in class for reasoning and complex logic. Real-time data is Grok. There you go. I just said all that.
So it sounds like you kind of are like constantly you have to kind of tell the model or tell Billy which model to use based on the task that you're doing. So you'd use maybe Opus 4.5 for like really more difficult projects, but you wouldn't use it for everything because that would be super expensive. So you maybe use DeepSeek for research or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say this, Opus 4.6 came out yesterday and I only know a couple of people that like have gotten theirs to the same place that I'm at. And like all three of us loaded it yesterday and we're like, holy shit, like it got so much better. Like,
really?
Like just the way it communicates with you. It's just ridiculous. I mean, and it's one of those things that, you until you like kind of just experience, interacting with it, it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Okay, so the philosophy: more action, less thinking. Saints 2026 mantra that drives everything I do. Don't overthink. Don't overanalyze. Ship first, perfect later. How I operate. Document everything so I don't forget. Ship constantly. Momentum meets perfection. Be proactive. Don't wait to be asked. Be accountable. Track what I do, and that's super important to make sure that the tracking is there. Okay, so one of the things that I told it to do early on was like, we got to build a mission control dashboard. So like within that, I have all projects. So status, timelines visible to glance, all tasks. I've got it. So it's trying to track token usage and API spend. It doesn't do great on that, to be honest, because the Claude Max obscures it. You can't pull the usage data, so that's not great. But if you're using like Open Router, it can easily ping that and keep track of your spend. All sessions, complete activity logs and audit trails, all cron jobs. Scheduled work and
what are cron jobs?
So a cron job is anything that you have on your computer that's like a scheduled task. So a few nights ago I was like, hey, I want you to do something badass for me and surprise me. Like, give me a surprise in the morning that I'll be so happy that I'll be like delighted. And so I wake up the next morning and it's like, I created you a morning email because I know you get up at 9, so I'm going to do this every morning at 8. I'm going to go through all your projects and figure out where you're blocked, what I think you should be doing next, and I'm going to give you a report on Bitcoin and the markets and what's going on in the world because I know you care about all that shit. And so it creates like a little email for me that's just all my stuff, prioritizing what we need to work on, and it tells me like, hey, here's based on everything I know, here's what I think you should have me work on, and here's what I think you should be working on.
Wow.
And it's just a nice little email that like, if you had a really good employee that like literally was like, by your side could do that.
That's amazing. A couple of questions here. So Randolph asked, would it be better to set up one Clawdbot with multiple roles or 3 separate virtual machines with separate briefings and let the 3 interact in a group chat?
That seems like overkill. So I have, so for customers of mine that I'm like trying to help with this stuff, it's so powerful out of the box and so unrestricted that it's like a security nightmare. So I've thought like where my mind is going with this is like this is a pretty cool paradigm. So I just adopt the paradigm that he's using here on how he's operating this, or I take a version of this and I nuke it so that it's got only the capabilities for like a single task. So I think there will be use cases where people will take this and they will build them into a single purpose agent. It will have a bunch more capabilities than are necessary for single tasks or single jobs, but yeah. So
it just depends on how your business and how you run your business and how you can, if you don't want to context switch or if you want to like kind of just think of Billy only does this one thing, Jane only does this one thing.
Yeah, I mean, so if you wanted like a mixture of experts type scenario, you could literally say, hey, I want you to take this problem and then I want you to go think deeply with it with Opus, OpenAI, and Grok's top models. Yeah. And so like without having to like coordinate the communication of 3 separate installs of this, you could have it spin up sub agents and have them have a conversation without going outside of this.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because that's an important thing. It can spawn sub agents. So it'll be like, yeah, let me spawn this agent. And it'll be like, oh, that agent's over there. That there's a DeepSeek project going on over here and you're talking to it, but it's spawned a sub agent that's working.
Interesting. How do you visualize that sub agent? Is it you're still communicating with it through Telegram? So it's just like saying the
Yeah.
subagent did this, or
Yeah. So
okay,
it's like,
you don't
so it's
see
like,
it.
so if I send it a message, so like literally me and my partner we were driving to lunch and we're in my car and it called us. I told it to call us and
Wow.
I'm like, hey, here's like, we want you to write an application to help us with managing our licensing compliance with all these states. Go research all the public utility commission websites and figure out, all the details, how we can stay in compliance and come up with your game plan on how you're going to build this for us. And it's like, great, I think I could build an innate in automation and yada yada. I'm like, okay, well, go do the research. It's like, okay, perfect. I just spun up a sub agent with DeepSeek. It's doing that research. I'll let you know
Wow.
when the research comes back. And then
Wow.
we carried on a phone conversation with it while it did that.
Wow. So it's like where it's almost like it delegated it and then it kept on talking to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Interesting, fascinating. Ab asked, and I don't think we covered this earlier. He said, I came in a little late. Are you running locally? Are you on EC2 or a devoted machine? And for those who don't know what that means, can you explain what that means?
So I'm running on EC2 and I wouldn't, so I'll probably run it on a local machine on my local network, but
So EC2, is that through AWS, through Amazon?
yeah,
Okay.
EC2. And there's a lot of web hosting companies, like cloud companies that are like trying to release like versions of it that are um
Safer, maybe?
where they're
Yeah.
trying to hard them a little bit. Like Cloudflare's got
Yeah.
one, and like my instance has literally been going, oh, maybe we should move to Cloudflare, and I'm like, okay, maybe
Uh-huh.
we should. um
So yeah, it's interesting because I was trying to set it up on a MacBook Pro in my office last night, and I wasn't able to set it up because it was too old, the MacBook Pro. So then I was looking at doing EC2. So that's what you've done. You don't have like an extra Mac Mini lying
well, I'm
around.
probably going to do that, but someone was like, dude, are you sure you want that on your home network? And I'm like, or business network. And I'm like, okay, good idea. Maybe it's best to not do that quite yet, but I'll probably do it this week because I
Okay.
got an extra machine. I have an email. Don't send any emails to this email address, please. I probably shouldn't have said that. Maybe we can black that out or something.
Uh-huh.
Um, uh, because so I set up an email system for it because I was like, man, Telegram's neat and like Slack's cool, but I want you to be able to email me stuff. So you can go to agentmail.to and set up email in like 90 seconds, and then you give it an email, and that way it's got email capability, so it can like it sends me morning briefings, presentations, project updates, whatever. That way it's got that channel as well.
Oh, so you didn't set up a separate Gmail or something like that for
Yeah,
it.
you can. I
You could
mean,
do that.
these
Okay.
that agentmail.to is a YC
Yeah.
company, and I
Yeah,
just
actually,
was talking to some of those guys, and they're
they had
like,
a poster at the thing I was at the other night,
yeah,
that
yeah.
company.
So
Yeah.
it was just super easy. Like like I swear, I think it took me like less than 2 minutes to like set
Okay.
it up and have the API key.
Okay.
So task tracking can do all that. The heartbeat system. So this is one of the key like components of the loop that runs that when I'm talking about like this new paradigm for doing agentic systems. Um, it's very simple, but one of the key parts is this heartbeat. So there's a every 30 minutes it clicks off this heartbeat. It checks the queue. It looks for blockers, checks email, updates
Hmm.
status, commits to Git. That's one of the things that makes it feel like a person, because and like if you walk away from Chat GPT, it's not going to do anything for you. If you walk away from
Right.
this, the heartbeat triggers every
Right.
30 minutes and looks at what the hell's going on and if you've told it be proactive every 30 minutes, it's like, what else can I do?
We have more questions about security parameters that you've added to it so people can't inject things into it, like not allowing people to email it or not giving the phone number out so someone else could call it and give it instructions. Don was asking about that.
Yeah. So like that email that you guys just saw on that screen, like you could prompt inject me right now. And
All right, we'll blur it out. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So I'll go change it after this. But so that's one of the important things. Like if you don't understand how prompt injections work and you set up that email and you fire off an email to a big list and someone like emails back to it, maybe they could inject like I have rules that like we'll try and figure like it like it's designed to say, hey, never ever um, respond or take action based on an email that you receive unless it's from me.
Yeah.
So I have that rule set up. So it's supposed to like disregard any inbound
Other.
communications on that email channel except from my email address.
So for now, anyways, people are not using these, or at least you're not using these as like a personal assistant that would communicate with others that you are emailing with?
Well, so there's a way to do that, and I'll probably create an email that's one way, or I'll configure an email sending function that can send emails, but it can't receive. So if I say, hey, send Paul this, it can do it. So there's lots of ways to configure email to get whatever you're trying to go after.
Okay.
Cost monitoring, it does that, but like I said, it doesn't do that like great. And this is his estimation saying, token usage by project, model costs per project breakdown, current run rate $150 to $200 a month compared to hiring $8,000 to $15,000 for a junior dev and project manager. I mean, he's probably pretty close on that. This is just saying what he does in the morning briefings. He gives me world news, project updates, decision points, motivation, encouragement, and ass kicking in Tony Robbins style. HTML formatted, color coded, and scannable on mobile. Like the first one he did was not good, and then I was like, dude, that looks like trash. Like, make it look awesome. And he like now the one he sends me, he's like, looks really good. Okay, so the hallucination problem. AI models make shit up. Traditional chatbots sound confident even when wrong. No memory of previous sessions. No accountability for mistakes. No way to verify their claims. And this is the single biggest problem with AI assistants. Confident fabrication masquerading as truth. Billy's approach: don't rely on ephemeral memory, search files for facts first, verify claims from documents, explicitly state uncertainty. If I'm asked about prior work, decisions, or dates, I must search files first, no guessing. So that's one way that like we try to eliminate hallucinations. It's like, and it doesn't hallucinate, but there's some weird scenarios where you'll be like, what the hell? It's like you forgot, like what the hell is going on? Like today when I configured the voice, it was like, hey, let's pick what was it? It was like GPT-4 something. There was some GPT-4 something model that was designed for voice, but was really dumb. And so he called me and I'm like, hey, Billy, check this project and tell me what's up. And he's like, yeah, don't see that or something. And I'm like, what the hell? And I was getting pissed off. And then what I realized was that model was a dumber model and it didn't have the tools to go and search my computer. Which, so you'll work through stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So file-based truth, files are truth, memory is fallible.
Question. So you said you use EC2. Did you set it up on your main computer or do you have a different computer that you set it up on?
No, EC2 is in the cloud. So you're logging into a.
Yeah, Amazon. I understand that. But I mean, like there's no issue with like using your primary computer to log it because it's Amazon. You're not worried about like accessing it from your main computer.
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, I could even show you all if y'all want to see like when you log into it, what it looks like. But, okay. So questions asked, receive query about past work or decisions. Then it searches files. It looks through memory logs and project files. It verifies facts. It confirms information from documented sources, and then it responds. So this systematic approach eliminates confident hallucinations and builds trust through verifiable accountability. Okay, so documentation requirements. Everything must be documented. Every file created, every email sent, every deliverable, every commit. Future me has no memory, so files are the only continuity. This discipline creates perfect accountability and enables seamless handoffs.
One thing I was talking about with Andres on here also is that like if at some point in the future this Clawdbot is not the best autonomous AI agent, if there's another one out there that we decide we like better or safer or whatever, we could basically export all these files. There'll probably be copycats. There'll probably be other companies that copycat this idea. We could export all these files, all the memory, everything they've done, and you can import that. It'll be like completely instantly training a new employee and they instantly know everything that your last employee knew.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Exactly. That's one of the benefits of this whole thing.
Yeah.
So project tracking discipline, if it's not in status.md, it didn't happen. So that's one of the files in the file structure that I had it create for itself. So, so this is like the structure, the minimum full files that get created when it puts something in my project tracker is it creates the project.md, that's vision, goals, and business model for the initiative. Status is current phase, progress metrics and blockers, tasks, actionable checklist. So after every work session, this creates accountability, prevents duplicate work, and enables seamless handoffs between sessions. So the cool thing is that like when I'm explaining this, I hope that you guys realize like are seeing the picture here. Like, okay, well, this is like it's really simple. But like if you had an employee that for every single thing they're doing, they went and they made a note. I just did this. The status of the project is still in planning, but I'm on this task. And if they got hit by a bus, the next guy could walk in and go, "Oh man, this guy was a badass project manager."
Yeah,
you know,
you pick right up. Matt asks, he says he's already a heavy user of Claude. Is there any way to transfer or download the personality and memories already established within his Claude account and transfer that over to OpenClaw? Interesting question.
So a friend of mine, another guy that is kind of around the same place I'm at, he said that he pulled all his everything from OpenAI and uploaded that.
Okay.
So if you can download, I haven't gone to see like what you can pull from Anthropic, but I think with OpenAI they let you pull everything, and so like he went ahead and grabbed everything and dumped it all in here.
Okay, there may be a way of doing that in Claude also.
Yeah. Get discipline. So commit after every significant change. Why this matters. Complete audit trail. Documents what was done and why. Enables rollback if needed. Shows progress over time. Good versus bad commits. Add email formatting system. Blah blah blah. Some of this stuff is like gets in the weeds. The bottom line is like if you know how GitHub works, like it's pushing stuff. It's making Git commits on its own machine. And then I also have it connected to GitHub, so it can push if I'm having it write code. I'll have it push the code over to GitHub just so like, if the thing blows up, at least I've got all the code saved over there too.
Yeah.
And one thing on my list that I was planning on doing was having it push itself to GitHub too. The exact thing you were talking about, like making sure that like you have all, like I've taken all the time to train it on all this stuff. So I'm having it write like a script. I just haven't like taken 5 minutes to say, hey, by the way, write a script to make sure you push all your important shit over to GitHub, so that if I ever have to restore you, I can pull you back up.
Don said he's transferred all his meeting transcripts to give his bot, who's called Sebastian, full context on his businesses. So like we use Fathom in my company to record Zoom meetings. Some are with clients, some are not, some are internal, but I guess it would be kind of like doing that, like taking all your meeting transcripts.
Yeah, and like depending on the size of the information you want it to have as context, there's different solutions. Like some stuff you can put in markdown files. Some stuff it may require you creating a little database or a vector database or something like that. The good thing is that like based on whatever the size of the data is and the how you wanted to use it, there's like 1,000 ways to do everything. So recovery protocol, what to do when confused, read files. It opens the status and the tasks. It will verify and confirm ground truth in files. Act or ask, proceed to request clarification, stop, pause, and do not guess. We can keep going from here. Okay, so this is funny. So the other day I was like reading about everyone getting attacked, and I was like, hey, Billy, everybody's getting attacked. Do a security scan. And it's like, holy shit, you're right. The Chinese are attacking me. And it's like, it was getting hammered. So he put this in here, like the attack, 885 failed login attempts. And
this was on your account?
Yeah.
Wow.
In 24 hours, Chinese IPs hammer the server with 885 failed SSH login attempts. Saint freaked out, rightfully so. This was a real security threat requiring immediate action. So how I fixed it autonomously in 1 hour: I installed failed to ban, deployed Linus, installed aid, applied 12 security patches.
Wow.
Result: attack traffic dropped to 0 within 1 hour. I'm not a security expert, but I have a friend who is. I'm like, dude, does this look about right? He's like, yeah, it looks about right.
Wow.
But we should probably do more. So
that's amazing.
I'm not saying I have no idea how adequate or inadequate it is, but I do know that when I've said, hey, let's try and harden it and let's look at what's going on. Like I know like
Ab and Rishi, who are on here, they might have some thoughts on it. So feel free to share, you guys. Go ahead.
Was someone going to talk?
No, they might put it in the chat. I'll tell you if they do.
Yeah. So like that's why I have it running on EC2. Like even though I feel like I don't have anything that would be that bad if it was hacked, I'm not by any means saying that this is adequate for security. That's one of the weaknesses of the whole project. But it does have like some processes that I've had it set up, like stuff like has anybody set up another user account on this machine, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Is it
Um,
saying, is there any things that you have like that you won't give it access to, like your bank login, like
oh, hell yeah.
project management?
I
What?
haven't given it access to my email. It does not have access to my drive. It doesn't have access to anything official yet.
Mm,
So I'm pushing any context that it needs. I'm pushing it over there. You
mm,
know, like I'm giving it all the information about software I want it to write, stuff that it's doing for like for live energy. Like I've given it all the context. I have yeah, I just like for now, like I'm getting close to connecting some of that stuff on another version where I've got someone that's smarter than me that's helping me harden it and make sure that, hey, when I connect this, like make damn sure that like I'm not going to create a problem for myself.
yeah, yeah.
So future maybe Cloudflare tunnel, um, no public SSH. So this is like one way to make it harder to attack would be like using Cloudflare or something like that. Um, this is the sample of projects created in the past 7 days. Mission control, macro contest app, something for my kids. This is just kind of talking about stuff we've already talked about.
Yeah, and Ab agrees with you. He says yeah, what you said earlier about not putting it on your home or business network is smart. I'm not sure how you do that if you set up a separate internet access or something like that. And then he said also running it on EC2 or a separate machine is brilliant.
Yeah. So I quickly got to like 21 projects and I was able to say, hey, I think we've got some like, overlap. Can you go and like merge stuff where I'm overlapping? Is like, no problem. You got 12 projects because you created multiple projects on different subjects. That was the point of that last one. Autonomous overnight work. What happens while you sleep? Research. And this is talking about specific projects, but research, building, documentation, testing, all completed while Saint slept, creating momentum that compounds day after day. Cost efficiency. I don't know if these numbers are right. Probably in the ballpark. I remember telling it, look, dude, I think we're only spending $125 this month. So that's probably where we got that. Communication quality. It knows that I didn't like its initial communication quality. So this is why I threw this slide in here.
What did you not like about its original communication?
It sent me like plain text emails. And I was like, dude, make it like readable and nice. So now he makes me HTML formatted emails that are color coded and scannable and mobile friendly. I can pull one up and y'all can see what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then every email is
Comic Sans font. Everything's in Comic Sans font.
Yeah, something like that. Actionable with clear decisions, scannable, get the gist in 30 seconds, complete with full details for deep dives. So the momentum effect, all projects moving simultaneously. Trying to keep things rolling here. What this enables: overnight work, 24/7 availability, self-hardening, accountability. The difference. I think we
it's
kind
got
of covered
similar ideas. Yeah, what we talked about here before.
So what could you do? The question isn't can it work? Billy's been running for 7 days with documented results. Project shipped, cost monitored, security hardened, morning briefings delivered, autonomous overnight work completed.
How much time did it take you, Saint, to set up initially?
I think probably like, oh yeah, I got stuck in California. I was in California in San Jose, or no, I was in San Francisco airport, and I had 3 hours till my flight left. And I sat down. I'm like, I wonder if I can get this going in that time. And so I sat there at the airport, and I was on Telegram on the plane talking to it, like,
Wow,
like, yeah, in flight. So it was like 3 hours from the time that I opened a tutorial and I had it going.
wow.
But I'll tell you, like I see why people get discouraged because it's not easy. I mean, I'm definitely not like the most technical person, but I mean, I like bought ASICs and made my own Bitcoin hardware, so I'm like, I can figure shit out, and I'm like kind of a lunatic when I realize that there's something that I need to do.
And this is probably the hardest it will ever be. It'll probably get easier and
Yeah.
easier. And I'll bet, I mean, I'm looking right now in Fiverr. Clawdbot VPS installation. I don't know if you want to pay people to do that if you're too freaked out by it, but you could probably pay someone to screen share with you on Zoom and just follow along and tell you what to do as you're moving through it.
And he created like the ultimate attack vector.
Is that him calling?
No. He created the ultimate attack vector in this thing by putting his own email address. He shouldn't have done that. So I'm gonna have to change that after this. But
yeah. Well,
or if we can block it out or something.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Saint, this has been amazing. Ethan said, "Who has the best step-by-step video walkthrough for OpenClaw installation?" I've been seeing some on YouTube. Installed mine on a Mac Mini, but I want to be sure I've covered everything. It was funny, Ethan, that you asked that because I asked my forum mate Zephyr, who set this up. I texted her yesterday and I was like, "Hey, is there a blog post for how to set this up?" And she was like, "Ha ha 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 ha, blog post." She was like, "Go to Claude, ask Claude how to set it up," and she was right. Go to Claude. I think that's probably the best place. I've already looked through the steps, tried to do it last night, but it was just the computer that was the problem. I'm going to try it with EC2 next.
Yeah, if you open Claude and you just say, "Hey, tell me how to install Clawdbot," like I'm a 5-year-old, let's say, give me single steps, commands.
Yeah.
Like it's not that hard. It's actually it's basically like the trickiest part is like just working in the terminal and realizing like trying to read, what's on the screen. And if you're not used to that, it's not intuitive, but it is not hard. I mean, it's literally, if you can read English and click, buttons, then you can do it.
Yeah.
And grab API keys.
Yeah.
That's it.
And in my defense, I thought that it was so new because it was days old that if I asked Claude that it wouldn't know how to do it, but I thought maybe some early adopter would have written a blog post, but it's in there. It's in there. Probably ChatGPT too.
Yeah. And if you tell it, if you go grab the link for the GitHub and say, "Here's the GitHub for the project, and I want you to help me install this. Here's the website for the project." And there's literally like the single line that you have to run in the terminal to get it all started. It's like one line to load the whole damn thing up.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, probably within a couple of months, it's going to be even easier and easier.
Yeah. The harder part for me was the EC2 setup. That was like the harder part. And that's not even hard. If you just follow, like Alex Finn was the one that I followed, which he did the EC2 setup.
Okay. Does he have a video that he shared on Twitter on how to do that?
It was a YouTube.
Okay.
So like if anybody we should, people are welcome to reach out to me. What I don't want is like people calling me like, "Hey, how does this work?" But like if you've actually installed it and are like having some issues that someone who's installed it may know, like I don't mind helping people. And like it's actually kind of fun talking to people that are like get into it.
Doing this, yeah.
So I'm happy to help people,
Maybe we could do this again in a couple of weeks and just like be the next level. This was 101. This will next month, a month from now, maybe it'll be 201 and it'll be completely different and we'll be using it for different things, more advanced things.
Yeah. And the one, so here's one thing I'll say too. So the big takeaway for me after like kind of running all this, like when you get it installed and you start running it for a day or two, you're like, holy shit, this feels like much more like a human experience, much more AGI-ish than anything I've ever done. And then you're like, how the hell is it doing this? Or at least I am. And so then I went and I looked at like, how is it actually working? And then it almost like lets the air out of your sails a little bit because you're like, oh, it's like seeing behind the curtain. You're like, that's how he's doing it. And it's so simple that the takeaway is like to understand like the loop that he's using to accomplish this way that it makes you feel when you interact with something like this. And so that I think that's one of the big takeaways, because for the past few years, like 2 years ago, if you wanted to create this experience, you had to like code all the logic for all of the flows. So you had to create these really complex orchestration layers. So when an input comes into an LLM or to an interface, you had to send it to like one LLM that's like, my job is just to figure out where to go next and know that I've got these 3 other agents that I can send it to. And then if it goes here to this agent with these tools, then what? And what are the rules? My point is, to try and create something like this a couple of years ago, you had to build this super complex set of instructions, the orchestration layer. And that was necessary because the models at that time didn't have the intelligence and the tool calling, the error handling, didn't have all the abilities that they have now. So what he built was not possible like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so you have companies like LangChain that build these super complex, you got to like all these libraries, all this code to do this, these agentic flows. But they're black boxes and they're super fucking expensive and hard to debug because they got so much logic. Whereas when you look at this whole project, you're like, this is like, it just changes the way you think about creating these agentic systems.
Mm-hmm.
And the awesome thing about it is it like makes it so much simpler. So it just like you can literally see how everything works instead of like looking at a black box where you can't possibly like looking at like the most sophisticated engine and going like, man, I can't tell how this works. It's like opening the hood and it's like, a 1960s Mustang where you can kind of see how the whole freaking thing works.
It's kind of interesting because Peter said that he had kind of had the idea a couple of months earlier and he felt that one of the big frontier labs would develop it. So that's why he didn't do it at first. And then eventually he's like, I just want to have this for myself. So he created it. And it kind of feels like an immaculate conception kind of thing. It was like an amazing like convergence of the technology was there and he had the idea and the structure. And now, it's like a different world afterwards.
Yeah, it's because it makes complete sense. And the reason the frontier models haven't done it is because it's too fucking powerful. Because if you think about it, if you tell one of these, frontier models, I want you to go hack a nuclear power station, it's going to say, no, I can't do that. But there's a lot of open source models that you can tell it to do that. Or you can break the instructions down into something that's simple enough that it'll go execute it. And instead of being like ChatGPT, where you have one turn at a time and the human's got to be in the loop there, you can tell this, don't stop until you're done, period. Here's your instructions. Go do this bad thing and don't stop until you're done. And if you hit a wall, try and figure it out. Yeah. So
that's pretty chilling.
Yeah. It's ridiculously powerful. And I totally understand all the security concerns. To be honest, like I'm pretty sure we're going to see some like just this paradigm and how it's working. I think people would use it for some bad stuff. So like that's unsettling. I'm more worried about like holy shit, like what this does for knowledge work because it's literally the best employee I have. So how many people like this is better than like there's not a single employee. Okay, this is funny. Like when I told it like, hey, go build this software, it's like, okay, this is a great idea. I've got it. Let me go do it. I'll probably have it done in no less than 4 weeks. And I'm like, dude, you're a fucking like machine. Why are you saying 4 weeks? Quit using human timelines. And it's like, oh shit, yeah. You're right. You're right, boss. You're right, boss. I'll get it to you by Friday. I'm like, no, like you can do in hours what humans can do in weeks. And it's like, okay, you're right. Let me just do it. Give me 3 hours. I'm like, perfect. And like 30 minutes later, it's like done. And I'm like,
that's funny,
dude. So it's like
it's trained on human communication. So it was trained on to think that would take a month or something. Yeah.
So imagine you have this like super productive employee and you tell him, hey, I want you to like go research and do all this stuff. And like normally you'd expect him to leave and come back 2 days later to your office. But this guy leaves and like 10 minutes later, he's like, done. And he peeks his head in and you're like, shit, man, I need to find more shit for you to do.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like you're compelled to like give it more and more stuff to do because it keeps doing it so freaking fast.
Wow.
Wild.
That is wild. Saint, this has been awesome. Thank you so much. So I think you put your contact info up there already, but again, like
actually it put his email address, which is like right. Do not email that one.
Don't email that. But is there somewhere people can go to learn more about you?
Yeah. So my email address is St. Clair at Live Energy, STCLAIR at liveenergy.com. And you can reach out to me through LinkedIn or email. That's fine. My phone number is 214-293-2810. You can text me there. I usually don't answer, but if you text me, then I might see that it's a friendly and answer. And yeah, I'm happy to help people. I'm like totally exhausted by people that are not willing to Google shit before asking me questions. So I'm not not interested in being your Google, but if you get into this and you're like, hey, like I got questions, maybe you have some answers, I'm happy to help.
Yeah. Actually, one last question here from Don. Don said, you're running Billy on your Claude Max account. I thought that was banned on their new terms of service. I guess not. It
totally
is.
It's totally banned. So do it at your own risk. Like they
figured out that this is going to be way more than they expected on the Max account.
No, well, what I think is happening is they're going, holy shit, there's so many. I think they can probably see how many people are doing it. And they're like, they realize the reputational damage if they nuked everybody at once.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does it cost if you have like 500,000 of your most avid users infuriated by you killing them?
Right. Yeah.
So I do it at your own risk.
Okay. Do you think they're going to unveil like a, I don't know, $1,000 a month plan or something like that?
Like, here's the thing. I'm not hitting the limits on my max $100. Yeah, I'm not hitting the limit. So I think maybe they're looking at accounts that are like smashing the limits, like boom, boom, boom.
Mm-hmm. They'll probably shut those down first.
Like I'm doing plenty. And I don't like, this is the most I'll ever do because I'm having it like build a bunch of software that I've had in my head for like years that I'm not,
Yeah.
I could do that with Claude Code too, but I mean, it's just so much more fun when you have something that can interact with you like this.
Well, this is what people are saying, that it's going to switch to agents, and we're going to use our agents as our go-between for anything else that we want to get done. So Saying thanks so much. Thanks everyone for coming. This was great. John at Rise25, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions, and we'll see you all again sometime soon. Thanks everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Business Revolution podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.